Welcome back to the deep dive. So you've handed us this just a glorious, chaotic stack of sources. We've got the deeply analytical mixed right in with the genuinely bizarre.
And our mission, as always, is to cut right through that noise.
Exactly. We're taking the ultimate shortcut to being well-informed on a collection of topics that, they absolutely refuse to sit nicely together.
Well, our mission today isn't just about, collecting facts. It's about connecting these seemingly disparate ideas. We're looking at themes of velocity, ambition, and this modern trend of illusion versus what's actually real.
Right. We're pulling out these highly specific data points from everywhere. The digital talent economy, celebrity policy, some pretty surprising culinary secrets, and even the physics of the human body.
We're talking about everything from why your fast food chicken has these perfect stripes
To what happens when you try to replace, say, a 25-year prison sentence with a 3-minute psychological simulation. For you, the learner, this is the crash course you didn't know you needed.
So let's start in the creator economy.
Yeah, which has become far less friendly digital community and far more aggressive corporate acquisition.
That's the perfect way to frame it. Our sources are highlighting that in this, cutthroat digital landscape, poaching talent isn't just a side effect anymore.
No, it's a strategy.
It's a calculated, necessary business strategy. It's almost a status symbol.
And the ultimate example of this, of course, is MrBeast. He's not just hiring assistants. He's intentionally seeking out and poaching the best of the best.
He's pulling people directly from rivals, from other successful creators.
It's like the Yankees showing up at a minor league game just to buy the entire team. It's that level of aggressive.
It really speaks to the enormous value that's placed on proven creative talent in this attention economy. And what's truly fascinating is the geographical irony here.
Oh, yeah, where this is all happening.
A surprising amount of this high-stakes creation and poaching is happening in places like Greenville and Greensboro, North Carolina.
Right near East Carolina University. And if you know anything about ECU, their mascot is a pirate. So you have digital pirates working near actual pirates who are poaching each other's staff. The theme is strong.
It is, and the underlying reason for all this aggressive poaching is just how hard it is to find people who can execute. One of the creators we looked at shared this sheer frustration of vetting candidates.
People with amazing resumes, right? Strong lines on the resume, as they put it.
But who ultimately just can't handle the basic foundational tasks you need to scale an operation.
I found the quote they used so relatable, this feeling that you just want to grab the candidate and say, look, before we talk about AI integration, just please color in the lines first.
It reveals this major disconnect, between what looks good on paper and what someone can actually do.
It's the difference between knowing the theory and actually building the thing.
Yeah.
And this whole environment has led to this bizarre, almost positive spin on losing your best people.
The famous hot girlfriend analogy.
It's a weird way to look at it, but the logic, it kind of holds up.
It does. The perspective is, if you're at a bar with your partner and they get hit on, that attention validates your own quality. You'd be more upset if nobody hit on them.
Because it would suggest your choice wasn't high quality. So having your staff poached is, in this weird way, validation.
Exactly. It means your internal system is successful enough to attract competition. If no one's trying to steal your people, you should probably be worried.
That search for high-value assets and influence, it just defines the creator economy. But what happens when that same aggressive pursuit shifts from digital content to, well, a completely different stage?
Like electoral politics.
That's where we run into Trisha Paytas.
It's a fascinating pivot. She announced her plan to run for Congress in California. And the sources suggest it isn't just a stunt.
No, her motivation seems to come from having kids and fearing a dystopian world for them, so she wants to take direct action.
And she plans to self-fund her campaign, initially as a write-in candidate.
Her potential slogan, California could be good, is just. It's almost revolutionary in how uncontroversial it is.
It's the most moderate starting point imaginable. It just strips away all the hyperbole. But the real meat of her policy, her main focus, is raising the age requirement for participating in adult entertainment.
To 25.
25 years old.
That's a massive jump from 18. What's the specific rationale she's using?
It's all rooted in neurobiology.
Oh.
The frontal lobe, the part of the brain that handles impulse control and long-term consequences.
It's not fully developed until you're 25.
Exactly. Her argument is that people should have a completely mature brain before making these career decisions, with content that is permanent and public.
Which brings up this enormous cultural contradiction, one that the source highlights perfectly.
Right.
Currently, an 18-year-old can legally create fully nude public content online, but they can't legally buy a Busch Light or a Pacifico in most states.
The contrast is just stark.
Hmm.
We grant legal consent for this potentially life-altering public exposure at 18, but we restrict something as minor as buying a beer for 3 more years.
It's an interesting policy discussion, for sure, and that blending of the new economy with old structures. It leads to another question the sources raised about funding.
You mean the military?
Yeah, if we see this entrepreneurial approach everywhere else, why not there? Could we see something like Army fans emerge as a funding strategy?
It's an interesting hypothetical. So we looked into the reality of it. Are active U.S. military members allowed to operate accounts on, say, OnlyFans?
And the answer is a very emphatic no.
A hard no. And it's important to understand why. It's not just a vague ethical thing. It violates specific, strict regulations on outside employment and conduct.
So it's about operational security, using government property or time, and just behavior that would discredit the service.
Precisely. Those rules ensure a high level of professional conduct, and that barrier, for now, is firmly in place.
Okay, so that's a fascinating look at the limits of ambition hitting institutional walls. Now let's pivot from ethics to something a bit more universal: consumer deception.
And specifically, what you are actually eating when you order fast food.
Let's talk about the McRib.
Ah, the McRib. It sounds like this delicious, smoky barbecue pork rib sandwich.
But the reality, which came out in a class action lawsuit against McDonald's, is, well, it's totally different. The claim was simple: the McRib does not contain rib meat.
And the details from the complaint about the ingredients, that's where this becomes a true deep dive nugget. It's not just not rib meat.
No, it's a very specific combination of, let's say, less desirable cuts, all labeled restructured pork.
That's right. The complaint listed the actual ingredients. It combines cuts like shoulder, heart, tripe, and get this, scalded stomach.
Wait, scalded stomach? But they market this thing like a national holiday.
Well, the legal argument is all about consumer expectation. You hear rib, and you expect, well, a rib. This process of restructuring takes these cheaper organ meats, chops them up, adds binders, and forms them into a slab that looks like ribs.
It's food science, not butchery. And speaking of manufactured illusions, the sources also debunk another thing we all just take for granted:
The perfect grill marks on fast food chicken.
those perfect, evenly spaced lines you see.
Almost universally not from an actual grill. They are essentially tattooed on.
Tattooed on? How does that even work?
They use these industrial branding machines. Imagine a set of hot, ridged metal wheels that just roll over the chicken as it goes down a conveyor belt. It sears those perfect lines right on top.
It's pure theater to make you think it was cooked over an open flame.
It was probably cooked in a giant industrial oven.
That's amazing. And this kind of strategy, it extends to the businesses themselves, right? The mergers, like Long John Silver's combining with Taco Bell or KFC under Yum brands.
Those mergers are strategic survival tactics. The analysis shows that when a brand like Long John Silver's is always sharing a space with another brand, it's usually because it can't pull its own weight as a standalone.
It needs the foot traffic from the more successful neighbor to stay alive.
Exactly. It's the struggling friend moving in with the successful siblings to cover rent.
And on that note, we have an update on the captain of that ship. The current Long John Silver's CEO is a guy named Nate Fowler, who took over in February 2025.
And that detail is perfect because it illustrates the whole theme. You have an outsider brought in to manage a brand that has to be combined with others just to survive. It's all about efficiency, even if it means sacrificing brand purity.
We've spent a lot of time on shortcuts to efficiency in talent, politics, food. So let's jump to a different kind of speed, one that's a fundamental to human existence.
The physics of climax.
Yeah, and this is where we get into some really surprising data. Sources that measure ejaculation speed.
The average speed cited is between 27 and 28 miles per hour. That's about 45 kilometers per hour.
Which is faster than most city speed limits. That's significant velocity.
And it's important to differentiate. That's the expulsion velocity. The sperm itself is moving much slower inside the body.
Right. And the history here is incredible. The slang we use now, bust a nut, only popped up in the 1930s.
But the ancient references go way back. The earliest recorded mentions are in Sumerian and Egyptian creation myths from around 2500 BCE.
And they weren't clinical at all.
No, they described gods like the sun god Adam, creating the world and rivers and other gods through acts of masturbation and seminal release. It was seen as the original divine creative force.
So from the divine act of creation to the future of correctional justice, let's transition to this really disruptive concept for reform, the system called Cognify.
This is a truly futuristic concept, proposed by a scientist named Hasham Al-Ghaji. The core idea is to bypass long-term incarceration entirely.
So skip the decades of expensive warehousing.
Exactly, by using advanced AI and brain implants to replace long sentences with these brief but very intense rehabilitation periods.
The mechanism is chilling. The AI doesn't just show you what you did, it creates artificial vivid memories.
Yes. The inmate experiences a compressed, simulated reality. They could feel years of remorse, overwhelming guilt, or even the victim's pain, all in just 3 minutes.
It's designed to be so psychologically realistic that the inmate gets a complete understanding of the consequences instantly. It's rapid empathy induction.
It's the ultimate ethical shortcut,
Really?
provided you accept the morality of implanting a simulated reality into someone's brain.
It raises huge philosophical questions. Is real experience necessary for atonement? But bringing it back to today, if you don't have the sci-fi tech, where do you end up? We should probably clarify the difference between a jail and a prison.
Good point. A jail is a local facility for short-term stays, usually under a year. A prison is a state or federal institution for long-term confinement.
And some of these modern federal facilities have become these high-profile centers. MDC Brooklyn is one of them.
It's gained notoriety because of the sheer fame of its defendants. The Hall of Fame list of inmates who've been held there is it's incredible.
We're talking Sam Bankman-Fried, El Chapo, R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Diddy, Michael Cohen, even Al Sharpton. It's a remarkable cross-section of cultural figures who have run afoul of federal law.
That is a lot of heavy information to process, from engineered food to engineered regret. So to cleanse the palate, we end with a delightful cultural oddity.
The Peabody Ducks in Memphis.
Right. These resident mallards at the Peabody Hotel are famous for their daily routine.
And it has nothing to do with efficiency. It's all charm.
Every day, they march down a red carpet into the lobby fountain at exactly 11 a.m., and then they march back up to their rooftop duck palace at 5 p.m.
It's a tradition that goes all the way back to 1933. And the origin story is fantastic. The general manager and his friend came back from a hunting trip.
After too much whiskey.
And decided to put their live duck decoys in the lobby fountain as a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stuck.
I love that. The grandest traditions start with questionable, inebriated choices, while our most complex decisions now are being dictated by technology. We've covered business strategies that treat employees like assets to be stolen.
Policy suggestions rooted in neuroscientific timelines, and the actual physical velocity of the human body.
All while debating whether AI should just replace hard time.
It really highlights how accelerated and strange modern life has become. Every sector is looking for these disruptive, bizarre shortcuts to efficiency. We've seen fast food chains that can't survive on their own being combined under bigger brands.
And we talked about the theoretical army fans.
So this leads us to our final provocative thought for you to explore. What happens when this relentless pursuit of hyper-efficiency forces the merging of two institutions that were always seen as, sacred and separate? We see Long John Silver's inside a Taco Bell. We see the idea of 3-minute AI justice.
So what's next?
What other fundamental societal barriers in education, in healthcare, in government itself are about to dissolve in the name of the ultimate shortcut?
Something to mull over until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.